Hi, and welcome back, Thelma. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. In like I don't know how many weeks of self isolation and social distancing and working it all out. It's awkward, but this is the new normal. I want you to talk about something that I know that you are very passionate about, and you've created a hashtag about this, and I'd like for you to expand on it. Please tell me, and everyone else who's watching and listening, please.
I started Grateful for Rona videos. So what is Grateful for Rona? Grateful for Corona, for what's happening, for this pandemic, for this COVID-19 thing. So I was in a motorcycle crash, right? 18 years ago, maybe 19 years ago. I paralyzed my right arm in the crash. My boyfriend died in the crash. Um, so cultivating the practice of finding the gifts in the shit is like my thing in life. That's how you can still smile and still know that life is blessed and beautiful and all good things, right? Even the shitty things are the good things. You just gotta sometimes let them marinate a little bit. So that's what I wanted to invite people to start looking at in their lives. Is what are these unexpected gifts or the things that you've been asking for that are showing up in unexpected ways? And if you just pause for a moment and acknowledge, just give a little space of acknowledgement and appreciate that, uh, it shifts your frequency and it opens you up to receive even more these gifts. So that's the Grateful for Rona videos. Every day I've been expressing something that I'm receiving from this.
That's beautiful, Thelma. I totally agree of that, and I feel like spending time with you when we did our our road trip in California, and we spent a lot of like one-on-one time and kind of like switching into that of like what are these good things, what are the blessings, what are the blessings in disguise. I feel like you were the
That's
first
right.
person to ever use that term with me, and I remember thinking like, wow, that she shows what's done, and that's so um, such a great way of reframing life. And to be quite frank, like I've totally embodied that too, because I'm like, just that simple shift makes such a big difference. And I love that you are openly doing this about a pandemic, right? Which is causing a lot of fear, causing a lot of anxiety and a lot of worry. And, and it's something that is making people like kind of like go into themselves or, like lash out or really kind of stay in that space of hurt and worry, and to flip that the way that you are, I think is absolutely brilliant. So I would love for you to tell me some of the benefits, if you're up for that, that you have experienced during this time with COVID-19 happening with coronavirus.
I don't, to me, it all feels very silly. Like because I, I'm, because I'm always looking for the silver lining, the gifts, and the truths behind the noise, right? There's always something going on behind the scenes. So and when you're sifting and you're looking, you tend to find those things. So for me, the benefits of it is I'm not living in the same reality as everybody else is with their masks and their hand sanitizer and like not being around. Like I've not quarantined yet. I've not spent one full 24-hour period inside, unless I'm like with my lover. But like it hasn't, it's not been like a I can't go out, or don't go. I've really not changed anything on how I do life, other than my kids home all the time, so I'm homeschooling more. But I'm not washing my hands any more than I was before. I don't carry hand sanitizer around. I'm not, I for me, I really know and trust that when you're vibrating at a certain level, there are certain things that just, they don't affect you the same way, right? So when you vibrate in gratitude, or when you vibrate in love, and you choose these higher frequencies, there's not that you're like infallible, or like nothing can happen to you, or but things kind of move through. They don't get stuck because you're allowing them to flow. When we live in fear and worry, anxiety, frustration, depression, things don't flow very much in that level. And things get stuck, so you end up getting sicker, right? Like, it's almost like you might just have some allergies, but they turn out into full pneumonia because you got all this fear living in your body. So I feel like those, because I've had a cold, I had a cough when we first started the videos, remember? Like, I was like, everybody's gonna think I got Rona. And I was like, well, fuck it, let them see me go from starting off with a cough to coming out of it, I'm fine, right? Like, I didn't die. I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't get diagnosed with COVID. I'm not quarantined. Like, I'm okay. I'm gonna make it. So I think those are the benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that answers your question.
So I have to share, because my experience has been so different in that I was in America when Australia shut. It put out this big kind of warning to everyone coming back in that, if you came back after a certain date, the middle of March, then you had to quarantine in your house for 14 days, right? And I came back 2 days after that started, and so by law, and I had to sign a declaration when I re-entered Australia. And when I entered in, like literally, I was greeted with people in full hazmat suits at the airport with a declaration that I had to sign, which came with a $13,000 fine if I didn't abide by it. And I sure as hell quarantined because I was like, I am not trying to, get in trouble. And obviously my government is taking this incredibly seriously. And so I was like, okay. And spending that time in, actually, I found to be quite a blessing. And I found it to be especially a blessing when the police came to check that I was staying at home, right? And that was pretty confronting, to be quite frank. Yeah, 2 police officers showing up saying, "Hey, is Jennifer Hamilton here?" And what can we, we need to ask some questions, and and then being, investigated basically to make sure that I've been where I'm supposed to be. Like, so for me, like with all of this starting, like that was kind of like the start, right? Like that was like quite a serious introduction. And then in that 14-day period of quarantining based on the government, I've learned that, well, not that I've learned, Australia has now put out, additional fines. And so if you are not practicing social distancing, you can be fined $1,000 on the spot. And people have been getting fines for this. And so, like, my government is like taking it so seriously. Our cases are minor, right? Because everyone is like, nope, not doing it. But to have that experience of my government, and I'm generally quite a liberal kind of person, which here is actually more like a Republican, but I'm typically more left, I will say, and having, I want to have freedom, and I want to have the ability to do what I feel is the right thing. But to have, the government very specifically putting out these mandates and me having to sign that I will abide or be fined, has influenced how I've operated in a major way. Yeah, it's really fascinating to me. But in that, I've had so many blessings. So many good things have come out of this. But from a different kind of, even with like fully quarantining and self-isolating, and still so many blessings have come forth, including having these kind of like heart-to-heart conversations with friends, right? Including feeling way more connected to my partner because he's working from home now. And, and when he's home more, then, our we get to be closer, and that feels amazing, you know. And other benefits of being able to do stuff around the house that we know that it need to be done, but we haven't been doing them, um, and I see so many benefits as well, and grateful for this time that we get to spend. I don't know, in a different way. How
Right.
how is how has time been going for you, Thelma, during this?
Like time, how it's moving.
Hmm.
It's really interesting because I've actually been observing that how time operates differently in people's universes, right? So when I'm here with Noah in my house, time moves slow. Like it's almost like, is this day ever going to end? Um, yeah, it moves very slow. And I can't find enough things to keep him busy all day long. So then I end up resorting to things that I'm not like really crazy about him doing all day. But it's like, well, I don't know. And with the weather, it doesn't really allow for being outside. We've had a couple of good ones. Um, so time has been moving really slow when I'm here. When I'm with my partner, time works very differently in his universe. It's almost like a blink of an eye and 5 hours go by, and it's like, where, what just happened? It was literally just 2 o'clock, and now it's 8 o'clock, and well, like, like we had lunch and we laughed for what seemed like an hour, and like 5 hours went by, so it's really interesting time.
Hmm.
What about you? How are your days?
Yeah, I feel like days and time has been so shifted. Like because my older son is in kindergarten, so he's now homeschooling. And in order for myself and my husband to get our stuff done, we wake up very, very early. And so my husband's been waking up sometimes even like, in the 3 o'clock hour, and I'm generally up in the 4 o'clock hour, and we work on our stuff together before the kids wake up at 7. And um, so, so like all of time has shifted, even just like from a, just a schedule point of view. But I've actually found it to be way more productive. And so, and we go to bed really early, like really early, like 8 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, it's time for bed, And so from like just a linear time, like stance definitely has shifted. In regards to like the minutes and the hours within the day, wow, sometimes they stretch out in amazing ways. And I feel like I was experimenting with this a lot before, and I feel like now it's given like the prime like opportunity to really do it. And so during my younger son's nap, I will spend like an hour while my other son is working on something that he can work on for an hour, and I will try my best to just like stretch that hour out. And so where I like try to consciously like turn off my mind of time and just like breathe and just stay so present in it, so that I'm able to like focus on the things that I know that I want to do and get done in that space. And so like I guess like the good part of it has been just really like bending the times that I want to stretch out. And then the other times, I'll tell you, I think like, because we're in, how many weeks are we? I think we just finished up the 3rd week of homeschooling. I think that's right. There were some afternoons where I was like, wow, this, like a 2-hour chunk feels like a whole day. And I'm
Oh,
still working on those.
yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I find that Noah and I are learning to communicate better with each other throughout all of this, because we have to do homeschooling stuff, and um yeah, it's been nice in that respect. I mean, it's challenging, um but I feel like he works more to understand me, because he's like, why are you getting so upset about this? And I'm like, so I'll break down like, I don't know, maybe it's that he didn't clean up after himself and he didn't finish what his assignment was because I didn't sit next to him to make sure. And I'm like, bro, you're going on 9. And you're going into 3rd, 4th grade. Like, it's, I don't need to sit next to you anymore to remind you these things. And you're like, why do I get so upset? It's because I've been telling you these things for 6 years now. 6 years of, no, when you're done eating that, throw it in the garbage. He's like, but you didn't get upset when I was little. I was like, well, you didn't really know yet. Like, you were still in training. You've been trained. You just don't follow through. Like, that's why I get upset. And he's like, oh, okay. So then he steps up to that. So that's been really interesting.
Thelma, that makes me think about, because I feel like I've been going through a bit of that with my older son too, and he's 5, and still we're like, okay, he's like, but the baby gets to do it, and I'm like, but you are older and you know better, so you should do better, right? And this idea, like, if you don't know, then okay, you know what I mean? And we're always doing the best. All of us are always doing the best we can with what we know, with who we are right then, with who we're around, with all of these pieces. But once we do know better, then it's time for us to do better, right? And do the things that we know that we should be doing, right? Yeah, it can be a tricky thing to discuss that with a little person, and to still like totally hold that space of compassion too, and be like, okay, I know that you need to get this habit, right? This routine that, okay, after every meal I need to then take my dish and put it in the sink, or when I take off my clothes for the shower, that those clothes need to go into the hamper, or like.
That's right.
Like,
those are the things. Or when you're done using your towel, you go hang it back up. While you're hanging up your towel, brush your teeth while you're in there, because it's bedtime. I don't need to tell you to brush your teeth. You know to brush your teeth because you're about to be 9. You've been brushing for a while, buddy. So I don't know. I don't know if I've been having that much compassion, but as the weeks progress of this homeschooling and being with each other, I like consciously remind myself, like, he's still a little person. But like, he's like up to here on me, right?
wow.
He speaks like a grown up, so sometimes I forget, and I could be hard on him. For me it's like, yeah, it's just it's part of growing up. Let's go. Yeah. I practice
have you been doing like the grateful for Rona with Noah at home?
Yeah, he did 2 of the videos with me. So today he was grateful for not having school. And the first one that we did together, he was grateful for a new level of bravery because he's not scared of Rona.
Wow.
That's what he said. And he really stopped and thought about it. I was like, what are you grateful for? And he's like, I'm not scared. I don't feel fear, or however he worded it. He's like, so it's like a new level of bravery. And I was like, my boy, good for you. Yours was better than mine today, Noah. Like, it was really good. And I was proud of him.
Does it make you feel, because instantly I'm like, oh, that makes me feel grateful for you for having the opportunity to spend this extra time with Noah, so that this beautiful, insight can come through him, and to him.
Yeah, it's been good. And then, because he left with his dad today, so he's getting a lot of dad time, more than he's ever had in his life. And he's struggling, right? He was like, I can't do another week. I can't, and I was like, yes, you can. You'll be fine. Then his dad called me right after they left, and they were like having a conversation about like words creating worlds. Because Hassan said something, and Noah said, words create worlds, daddy, And then Hassan's like, but he does know that actions have to back up the words, right? Like, you do, I don't know. So we got into this whole big thing, and it's, Noah's growing, and we got to pause the expectations the institutions and of the teachers and the psychologists and the social worker saying what he should or shouldn't be like, or what is working and not working in that environment. And I got to just have him here, where it's like it's just love, right? I may be hard on him, but I'm hard on him because, I got to make sure he's going to be good in life, and then with his dad also coming in and backing that up too, it just think it was really, really necessary and nurturing for him.
So it's a great time to reconnect in love.
Right.
So Thelma, so it's hashtag grateful, the number 4.
The number 4, and then Rona, Rona.
All right.
We just called her Rona.
Okay, I'm gonna start using that as well. Thank you
Yeah,
so very
do
much.
it.
I totally am. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing your videos. Are they going to be on Instagram or Facebook? And they're going to be public, right?
You are so funny. I love you. I told Jason, he said that, and he's like, I'm sorry, no, Noah's calling me.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We can go. Okay.
Okay. All right. Love
Okay.
you.
Love you. Bye.